Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Doug DiVirgilio. I'm a SCORE mentor and a member of the Minnesota Education Committee. And we're presenting today the SBA Loan Financing by Greg Poznansky, and I'll turn it over to him in a minute to get into that. I want to let everybody know at the start that if you have questions, please type them into Q&A and or chat, and Greg is going to take them as he's presenting as there are breaks. So just go ahead and type them in as you have them. We'll fit them in during his presentation. Now, before I turn it over to Greg, I do have some information I want to share with you about SCORE. So SCORE is a nationwide not-for-profit organization that is an independent resource partner of the Small Business Administration, or SBA. And we've been in existence since 1964. SCORE has 300 chapters nationwide and 10,000 volunteers. And here in our Minnesota chapter, we call it, which is Sarasota and Manatee counties, we've been around for over 50 years, and it includes those counties with the exception of Northport, which is served by Port Charlotte. So our mentors, the ones I know very well, our 90 and our 10,000 nationally, are a group of executives who have deep business experience from a broad variety of businesses. So we work with you one-on-one. We also can bring in another mentor depending on the expertise needed. So I encourage you, if you don't have a mentor, consider getting one, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Again, not for profit, which means it's free to you. We are offering our services as a way to give back to the community and to help small business. Our chapter has recently been recognized as District Chapter of the Year, and we've won a number of national awards in the past as well. Now, how can we help you? Our value proposition, as you can see, is to successfully navigate the business process with you, being brainstormer, resource provider. So let's take startup, for example. A lot of people are dreaming about starting a business, have for years. How do I do that? Takes a lot of work. We have a lot of information, resources, templates, and expertise to help you with that. Previous slide showed, and I'll get to the website, lots of information there. On the SCORE website, great webinars, podcasts, templates, articles for pretty much any kind of business. So we can help you in your startup as you dream and actually do start a business. During the startup phase, a lot of complications can happen in opening a business. That's another place we can be of great help. In growing your business, I've seen a lot of businesses in my career grow so fast that they fail. So we can help you with managing margins, determining how to hire the right resources. You can sometimes grow too fast, managing growth, or buying or selling or closing or exiting a business. So just some of the ways that our mentors can help you. I mentioned the SCORE website, and please visit score.org/Minnesota. You can request a mentor there. You can view mentor profiles. You can see the upcoming workshop calendar, and we present weekly. You can see recording webinars, both from ours and national, and a host of other resources available to you there. And we couldn't go any further without thanking our sponsors. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. You see the list there, a number of banks, one of them First Citizens Bank, who Greg represents. And so we want to thank our sponsors for all they do for us. So now, I'm going to turn it over to Greg, remind you that Q&A, please type it in. We have questions already. We'll slide them in as we can, or chat, but Q&A be the easiest way. You will receive a link to this recorded webinar and a link to the slides after we conclude, which I'll remind you again there at the end. So let me introduce Greg. Greg is the VP of Business Banking at First Citizens Bank. He's been in commercial banking over 15 years, and he helped start the First Citizens Bank in Lakewood Ranch 4 years ago. So with that, let me turn it over to Greg. All right, Greg, there you go.
Okay, perfect. You can get a slide two.
Slide two.
We'll start there. Okay, so everybody's probably, if you weren't familiar with First Citizens Bank, you may have seen us in the news very recently, back in March 27th. First Citizens Bank, announced its purchase of the California-based Silicon Valley Bank, involving the federal deposits as that bank went under. That just represents that First Citizens Bank is very well capitalized and has done this many times in the past. They plan very well and they're not a conservative bank, but they make smart choices. They have a reputation for financial strength. They've been around for 125 years, and they are one of the few family-owned banks left running in the United States. As you can see to the right, with the acquisition of SBB, it puts us in the top 20 for national banks for asset size. But First Citizens really prides themselves on being more of a small bank. So, as we sit here, I started this location, Lakewood Ranch.
Greg, your audio is not very good. It's coming and going. I think that's what someone was saying. I'm hearing it too. It's not very strong. I don't know if anyone else is seeing that.
Is that any better?
Yeah, it's a little bit better. Can everyone else hear okay? Let me know if you can hear.
Okay, yeah, I'll see if I can get it. That continues to do it. We'll see if we can change something here, but that's fine. So SVB was purchased by First Citizens Bank on March, and with those total assets, puts us in the top 20% of the national banks with a combined assets of $219 billion. They're still considered a large bank, but we still act as a small bank with individual transactions and lobbies that you can walk into and still interact daily. You can click the next slide, please.
Next slide.
So First Citizens Bank, I've been here 4 years in Lakewood Ranch. I came over from another bank, and this bank here was home bank in Lakewood Ranch. We currently have one location here. We're adding another one shortly next year, and then we're going to be expanding out. So we're slowly getting into Florida. Tampa has 9 banks, and then Naples and Fort Myers has, I believe, 15 to 20 banks down in that area. So they're looking to expand Venice and stuff like that. But these are the types of loans that I've been able to do since joining First Citizens Bank and helping start in the Lakewood Ranch area. We've done everything from commercial real estate, construction real estate, several medical equipment loans, medical practice loans, and several SBA loans. And then a lot of what we're kind of talking about today is the SBA refinance loans. That's kind of the market we're in right now because the rates on some of these loans are variable. So that's the type of stuff we're looking at doing in this area. All right, next slide, please. When you're preparing, for a business loan, a lot of stuff you need to get ahead of time, and which SCORE can help you, and we can also help you walk through it. Understanding your credit score. A lot of stuff is based on credit score. When it comes to business, you're still guarantor on the loans. So we do look at the credit history to make sure you are paying your loans on time. We do have a kind of a range we use, but we also can get around some stuff too if it's explainable, and always be upfront and know your credit score. Be prepared to tell your story. We love visiting locations, seeing what the businesses have, and the best part of my job is going to a business and seeing how you guys started and how we can help you grow. Put your story and loan request in writing. That helps a lot of even people that are business owners that are older that want to expand. What do you want to do? The way we kind of look at it is the way I kind of look at what your needs today, but how can we help you get to tomorrow? And preparing a plan to get you there going into next year. And make an appointment with the bank. We'd love to talk to you. We love to talk to you, and a lot of other commercial lenders, in the area. If you have a bank that we'll be glad to at least go over some solutions for you. Next slide, please. how to refinance the SBA loan is understanding what your refinancing actually will do to help you. Right now, what we're finding a lot of times is the SBA loans are variable. If you've been in business for 2 years, we can look at what your payment is and what your payment would be on a fixed rate. Some of the benefits to SBA loans. Right now, we're in a heavily rising Fed rate, but it doesn't have to derail your business needs. A better interest rate isn't the only reason to borrow, and may consider other refinancing options to help you with your existing loans. The Federal Reserve has indicated that additional rate increases are likely in the future, possibly in June again. It may start to slow down a little bit, but locking in that fixed rate definitely will help you over the next couple of years. Next slide, please. Why would you want to refinance? I would say the biggest thing right now is getting a lot of businesses have several different types of loans, especially when you start up. When first starting out, you may take out high interest credit cards, high interest rates, short-term loans. All this stuff can be refinanced into longer-term debt to lower your payment and also lower your interest rate. This will also open doors for many things to come. High interest loans with short repayment terms require higher payments each month. That takes a good chunk of your money away that you have to grow. It also increase the amount you owe on the entire loan. If you're trying to grow your business, you need to have money to invest in growth. Refinancing your SBA loan will free up money. And these are the things that can actually help you consolidate that. Over the first few years of your business, it's likely you've taken out a couple of loans to cover expansion and additional startup costs, multiple loans, refinancing all of your SBA loans into one, kind of streamline your monthly payments. Instead of juggling multiple accounts, you'll have one payment to make each month and still have some, still amount of debt into the loan, but everything will be managed by one lender. For bookkeeping purposes alone, this is enough for many small businesses to want to refinance the debt. Next slide, please. Things to do to help you prepare for your, when you're looking at refinancing a loan or even a new loan. Before you can refinance, you need to look at your current loan information, which I do a lot. We can take a look at your current SBA and find out if there's what your interest rate is currently, what the outstanding balance is, your monthly principal and interest payments, the current interest rate, and some of the SBA loans will have prepayment penalties. And some, are 3 years, some are 5 years, some are 7, and I've seen some that are 10, and sometimes it doesn't, pay to refinance that and pay a large fee to do that. Once you have a clear understanding of the loan, look at your current performance of your business. Do you have enough income to justify the refinancing? Can you afford the early repayment fees if there are any, and low origination fees on the new loan? Starting into looking at refinancing options, what we can do, how we can break it up and help you streamline all the loans into one loan for one payment. Different loan types you can look at options for. Match the loan type to the loan purpose. So if it's vehicles, we do plenty of vehicle loans. If it's commercial real estate, we can do that with a line of credit to help you grow. There's lots of stuff that we can look into to help you lower your interest rate and lock in your payment. And you'll be surprised sometimes if you're paying a certain amount on the SBA, we can actually cut many years off the loan for the same payment if you like, or we can stretch it back out to save you some money to help you grow. Next slide, please. What is needed to refinance an SBA loan? You'll need at least 2 years of personal tax returns, 2 years of your business tax returns, a current financial statement, current year financials up to current month, check SBA. Sorry, somebody's banging on the door. Sorry about that. Check SBA note for current structure and rate. Check the SBA note for any prepayment penalties. A banker can help you calculate the cost savings or if it makes sense. And sometimes it does. A lot of times it does make sense. Sometimes it doesn't. And we kind of let you know what we have to do to help you get to the next level. Cash flow is very important. Putting money away in a savings account always helps. Right now, there's many interest rates that are paying pretty well on money markets. Next slide, please. Capital solutions for businesses. What we offer, and many banks do, is commercial loans. That's for purchasing or financing owner-occupied real estate, new construction or expansion, working capital to help you grow, and strategic incentives, strategic initiatives, and more to help you get through the next level. Credit lines that we offer give you cash to purchase stuff and then prepay back. So restocking of any materials that you have or any kind of stuff that you need for the everyday business, and it's a revolving line. Equipment finance and leasing, purchase vehicles, purchase equipment, anything to help you grow. A lot of stuff to take you to the next level. SBA loans, they can be used different times. And some of these SBA loans that we're seeing, we can also get 100% financing, even if you're an established business. Sometimes it makes sense. Credit cards and purchase cards. I'll kind of go over what a credit card and a purchase card is, but credit cards are a revolving kind of line. A purchase card is something that is like a charge card. You have to pay it back every 45 days, but you get a large rebate at the end of the year. And that's kind of for larger businesses spending a lot of money on cards with gas and anything else that are using. And we actually offer, starting in 2022, we actually started having hemp business solutions, which they're highly regulated items. We have solutions now for the manufacturing of hemp products, which we are seeing a lot more pop up now. We're doing the loans for the construction, the equipment of. I recently did a loan for straw manufacturer out of hemp products, and they provide a lot of the straws to the local public schools in the area. Next slide, please. These are the differences, the main differences between a commercial card and a corporate. They call it a P card or a purchasing card is for larger spending per year, more of $1 million or more. Can give you real-time control of each card to adjust the limit or turn off the card. So on Friday night, if you have several drivers that have your trucks, they come back and park the trucks, you can actually turn the card off. But if you actually have a person out at Home Depot needing to buy a $2,500 worth of mulch or something like that for a landscaping company, you can actually adjust the limit real time to allow for that purchase and then turn it back off. So it gives you more control over each card and each spender any time of the day. Rebates are based on spend, starting at 1% and go up from there. Rebate is paid once a year, typically into the account or as a check. Traditionally, corporate cards are used by mid to large size businesses to help them manage their expenses. And the commercial cards might be company cards or individual payment cards. In many cases, companies give employees corporate credit cards to use when they travel or for a lot of gas purchases. That's all I have on the slideshow, but I'd be open to any questions or discussions of anything going over, or anything you guys want to discuss.
So we got two questions. I'm not sure if you've already addressed them. One was from Aaron. If you had to take a deferment during the hurricane, are you still able to refinance, or do you have to wait a period of time before starting the process?
No, there's no time for the deferments. That was just a thing that went out to help. But if you need to just look over your current SBA note or current loan, that should not affect you from refinancing into a fixed rate or a different loan.
And there's another one. Do you need to be local to obtain a loan?
We, depending on what loan we're in actually 23 different states. So we can facilitate it here if it's in another state, and we can get somebody to help you out, just depending on what it is. If you live here or live there, you don't necessarily have to be local, but we can direct you in the right direction and get you somebody in the local area if needed to talk to you.
Anyone have Q&A? We can also unmute phones if you got a longer question. I know there's a lot of questions on SBA loans. They can be very complicated. Greg's right here. We got plenty of time. So if anyone wants to either type in chat or Q&A, or wants to, phones are muted. I can unmute your phone. Just let us know. We got, again, we've got plenty of time for that available. So here's your chance. And I'm going to try to go to another one. Okay, Michael, one of my clients, when buying an established business, what are the key factors you look for in a balance sheet?
Basically, we'll look at several items. We'll look at what they have in current debt. We'll look at what their actual cash is, cash basis wise, and then as it going through what their, I would say what the biggest thing that we kind of go off of is the looking at what they actually produce on a monthly basis. A lot of times we'll look at receivables. We'll go into expenses, how we can help them, fix that up as well. There's a lot of different factors that go into the balance sheet. We don't typically look at one particular thing, but the main thing is how much cash they have on hand, what they're turning each month, and what the receivables are. If there's a longer term of payments or a shorter term of payments, we'll kind of go that route.
Other questions? Anyone? Here's your chance. Raise your hand, chat. Anyone else before we conclude? All right, well, let me just remind everybody that you will get a copy of the slides presented today and Greg's information, and we'll also have a copy of the recorded webinar. And if you have any other questions, again, you still have a chance. Oh, wait a minute, we got a few more coming.
It'll pop up there.
Greg? Michael, I think yours got cut off. For buying a business, when is it? So Michael, maybe type more in. Another one, I have an SBA loan now when we bought our business, but the interest rate went up to 10%. So I guess he's asking how that could happen.
Well, it's probably on a variable rate, which that's a lot of things we're doing right now is refinancing those out of that. So if it's been at least a year, we can look at it, preferably 2 years in business to show that, but we can definitely look at it after a year. But that, yeah, you're on a variable rate, so that's only going to go up from here until the prime goes back down. Sorry.
Do you have to have an LLC, or can you have vendors? I'm not sure I understand that question. Abby, you want me to a little more clarity on that? And Michael says, are commercial loans available when buying an established business with cash flow, or is it straight to the SBA?
No, business loans can be done either way. So we do a lot of business acquisition loans. Just depends on what, who's buying it. if they have experience or, some of the cash, what you have to bring to the table. SBA loans will actually help out a little bit more if you don't have that much cash, if you have experience. In a commercial loan, we can actually, I would say non-SBA is, you need a little bit more cash to go into it, but we can definitely do up to 7-10 year loans on those.
Okay, my SBA loan moved out of state due to bank moving. Is there a way for a potential new bank to look at the SBA note to find out if there are liens if I want to refinance?
Yes, there's we always look at that if there's any liens against the business before we provide a business solution. So if they have, was the question with the bank moving or is the person moving?
Looked like it said bank. You can re-clarify for us. That'd be great. And Abby's back again. To get a loan, do you need an LLC? Question mark. Or can you have a vendor's license? I guess we're talking about the business itself, sole proprietorship.
Yeah, we can do sole proprietorships of just there's always a guarantor. So you'll be a guarantor on the loan. I'm pretty much, I would say 90% of loans have guarantors. So yeah, we can do it without an LLC. And there's also personal loans in the business name available.
I have been in business exactly 2 years, but I applied for credit card with my EIN, was denied, with Social Security number is told to wait after 2 years, filing my taxes before applying for a loan and credit cards.
So basically if you applied, I would check your credit score. The first thing to do is probably check your credit score to see where it's at, because a lot of times we'll do business, especially if it's under 2 years, we do credit cards is basically strictly going off the personal guarantor. We don't even pull the business in at that point. If it's that new, it's going off the credit score. So I'd probably check your credit score to make sure there's nothing on there that is hurting you.
That's it. That's great advice. I mean, remember, you're financing a small business. You could do it through the business or through yourself. Is the requirement the same as a new loan per your list if you want to refinance?
Yes. So basically, that's not, if you're refinancing, we need to see all your information, all the current information. So most of the stuff's on there is going to be consistent. Sometimes we can get away with some other stuff, but we like to see the personal financial statement. We want to see the 2-year tax returns and the 2-year personal return. So it's going to be pretty much the same for a new loan or a refinance.
The bank moved. I'm located in Fort Myers and would like to have a bank that is closer on top of getting a fixed loan. Apparently the bank moved, Greg, on the prior question.
Okay, yeah. So if the bank moved, when we refinance, we pull any liens or anything like that. So it doesn't matter where that bank went. If you want to, there's plenty of First Citizens in Fort Myers. There's other banks in Fort Myers that are local. Just not sure what you want to look for in a local bank. But we have plenty of branches in Fort Myers and Bonita Springs and Naples, and so do other banks. So you can go to any of those banks, including First Citizens, but you can go in and just ask them. And if you want to refinance the loan, we'll take the loan information. If you have the loan, that would help. And then we can kind of pull, when we refinance it, we'll take out that note from that bank.
So just a comment about our sponsors. They work very closely with us. You saw the banks that are sponsors of SCORE. First Citizens is one. And so I think if you go in with working with a mentor and you're going in to talk to somebody that works with SCORE, you're going to probably receive a warmer reception than you would to the others. Also, not every bank offers SBA loans. You can go to their website and you can put your information and zip code in, and they'll show you who partner with them, but First Citizens does. So just a comment there. Is there a specific link to apply for an SBA loan? So how do you actually apply for one, Greg?
So with First Citizens, you would come in and talk to me or anybody, if you're in Fort Myers, talk to one of the, and I can always make an introduction to people down there as well. We would take all the information and provide you with because we work directly. We're in-house SBA lenders. That's one thing to look for. It gets done a lot quicker. So any bank that has in-house SBA financing, we take the information, we process it in-house. That's what that kind of means. Several banks do, several banks don't. Some banks have to take your information and send it to Virginia to get it reviewed by the SBA. So working with an in-house lender, but we would do it all for you. Same kind of parameters that you kind of see on a regular loan, but we would take your information and we would help you get the loan done.
The next one is, I think it says what percentage of your total credit should you be using to create a healthy credit score? But Greg, I think the real question is, how do you create a healthy credit score?
So your healthy credit score on the personal side, basically you want to be under, I think it's under 20% of your lines available. Makes it go up every month. Having a car loan, having a house loan, paying it, the longer you pay it, the better it helps your credit score. And also no late penalties. Late payments kill the credit score. So if you take out, and don't have too many inquiries as well. So if you're shopping for a car, don't go to 10 different dealerships and have them pull your credit. Find out your credit score from plenty of credit card companies provide free credit scores. And a lot of banks websites do as well. If you bank with them, they'll provide the free FICO score, and it gives you a detailed list of everything on there, what's paid, what's not paid. You can also go to Experian, Credit Karma, Equifax. All those provide free credit reports for you to see. The biggest thing is just keeping your debt down, having credit available. So if you have a house line of credit with $100,000 on it, and you're not using it, that is absolutely helping you. But if you have it maxed out at 100,000, that's hurting you because that's against your debt available.
Great question, great answer. Checking your credit score is very important. Let me just, Michael, I'm allowed you to talk. Can you go ahead and share? I know yours is a little longer, but it's a great time to ask your specific questions. So go ahead. Michael, can you hear us? Can you speak? We see if we can hear you. I got you. I opened up your mic, Mike.
He looks Michael, like he still might be muted.
Let me try to go there again. We might have lost him. Talking. Ask to unmute. Yeah, Michael, you have to unmute your phone. You must be muted. All right, let me try to read it. When buying an established business that has an existing loan needs to be paid. Well, I'm not really getting this. He's typed it in. There's an existing loan that's 3.04%. Yeah, that's not making sense. I know there's a purchase for 225. He wants to know if he should assume the loan. But I'm not getting him. Try one more time to see if I can unmute his phone, which is what I was trying to do.
That's a good question. I think I kind of know what he's kind of going at. A lot of loans are not assumable. If they are, and you have a chance to assume the loan, look at how much, look at what you're assuming. What debt is it assuming the loan, and also how long that loan is left. It might only be a year or two, or it might be 10 years. But 3.04, if I'm reading that right, that's a great rate. If you can assume it, then I would definitely do it, but there's usually a fee to assume it as well. If they are assumable, I would probably say a lot of loans are not assumable though when it comes to refinancing.
So if it is assumable, you're recommending do that. And I'm sure that's part of the negotiated price that he's talking about, because you may pay a higher price to get a loan that low. So it all comes into question there. Again, Michael, send me that information and I will be happy to look that over for you. I need to see the loan agreement. That's part of what I would see, because I work directly with Michael as well.
And it might there might be a fee too. We see assumable fees on
Yeah,
top
I
of
mean, exactly.
closing
You
costs.
never know. If there's a fee too, that comes into your answer. They want your contact information, Greg. I guess it's not on there. Will it be on the slides I send them, or do you want to provide it?
Yeah, you can provide them the slides, or I don't have their specific email, but I can send it to them. I'd be glad to.
Is it on your slideshow? Because they're going
It
to
is on the front page of the slideshow. My contact information and my email address is right on there.
Okay. All right. So that'll be on the ones you get. Since you are an in-house lender, how long does it take from application to funding?
Depends on what.
Hello?
Michael, is that you?
Yeah, I apologize about that. I had to restart my restart the iPad there. I apologize for that inconvenience.
All right. So Michael, we're going to go to you. Then we're going to answer Greg, the one about time from start to finish, provided it's approved. So Michael, go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, thank you guys. First of all, thank you, Doug, for inviting me, and thank you, Greg, for having this informative class. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah, the question was just so on an established business, there's a purchase price of $225,000, but they said, well, we have an EIDL loan that we have to start paying on at 3.04% for 50%. So if you assume that loan, then we'll drop the purchase price to 175. So I guess the EIDL loan, it was through SBA, and they said it is assumable. So I was just curious what are some of the pros and cons of doing that, besides the 3.04%.
I would see, because some of those EIDL loans were pretty long, right? Some of them were pretty short.
30, yeah.
So you don't want to assume something that's going to, even though it's a low rate, that's an additional, coming out of your pocket each month. So I would take a look at what it is. If it's assumable, then I would, definitely take a look at it. But when you have the EIDL loans, that was something that's kind of outside the business to help the business stay afloat. During a period of time, it's really not going into revenue, and we don't actually calculate that as revenue. If you ever wanted to refinance that loan.
That makes sense. Okay.
So you would be taking on loan that you would have to pay off if you ever wanted to refinance it with any bank, because they're not going to even count that as additional income.
I see.
Devil's always in the details on these things. That's why talking with people like Greg, reading the fine print, getting behind that. If you're looking at a business that has one, you want to see that loan agreement. You want to see the documents themselves, and they can be very complicated. So working with us and our partners, always key. Michael, anything else from you?
No, I appreciate that. So just to review, you're saying that because it doesn't count as revenue, if I ever needed to get a business loan, that would count as a debt against me.
Yeah, because if he's willing to reduce the price, he's obviously adding that in as revenue or evaluated, and it's really not revenue for the company. So you're actually paying for it, something that you're not getting the benefit of. He got the benefit of, but you're paying for the next however long, 10 years, 15 years. The best thing to do is probably in that situation, even though the lower interest rate, is to pay that portion off. And because you can always refinance the business loan later.
I see.
But that's going to be an extra. If you had the business evaluated, that won't be counted into the business evaluation. So the company might be worth 175, but he's charging 225 to pay that off.
I see. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't want to take up too much time, but I
Great.
do.
Great point. And Michael, we can follow up on that. Those are all the points. Again, seeing that loan agreement or document themselves is going to be a key. But that's great information.
Oh, thank you so much.
Let's go back to the other question, Greg. How long does it take from start to finish?
So it depends on what it is. So if it's a commercial real estate, appraisals have to be ordered. Those are all third party, which take about 2 weeks. I would say most of the commercial real estate or anything that's tied to real estate takes about 45 days. On a conventional loan, about 45 to 60 days on the SBA. Some additional factors go into the SBA factor, but if you're just purchasing a company and there's no real estate involved, we're turning those in 30 days or less. And then equipment loans, we're doing them in 2 or 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah, to buy a truck and stuff like that. I mean, those are really, really simple.
That's quick.
We have a fast track process for certain things. Then we can turn around with, all we need is the VIN number and stuff like that, or the equipment. We can turn them around really quick as long as you can get insurance on that part of it. And that usually takes a day or two, but yeah, quick on that. Commercial real estate's a little longer. But even practice buy-ins and stuff like that, I've done them within 30 days.
Elisa, would you rephrase your question? I'm not sure I really understand where you're going with that. Maybe there's some typo in there. Pablo wants to know, when would be a good time to refinance?
It depends on what the loan is that you have now. So if you have, take a look at your loan, how long you've been in business. If you've been in business for a couple of years, you have a variable rate. It's definitely, you want to lock that in now, because we still have some rates that are 5-6%, so they're not as bad. I would take a look at the loan specifically, how long you have left on that loan, and then look at what you have. A lot of factors go into refinancing and when a good time is, because you might be at a variable rate, paying a higher interest rate, but might be able to lock that in and cut off a few years off the note.
Great point. Also, how much do you need when? I mean, we can all play the game of how higher interest rate's going to go, but nobody knows. So if you need the money and you're calculating where you are in your business cycle, you may have to just go forward. And that's how working with somebody like Greg, you can figure out what the best opportunity is, variable or fixed. Do you participate in the SBA Express loan program?
We do. We have on certain things we do, just depending on what it is. But yeah, we are an SBA Express. We're a regular SBA shop, so we have everything in house.
So I think there's a little bit of confusion. Again, Greg, a question is, what is the time on a commercial loan on purchasing an established business versus SBA timeline? Again, you can go in and talk to commercial bankers, and they may make the loan directly, or they may work with SBA, which again is a process that they would help guide you through. If they can do it directly, that's oftentimes easier. But if you're purchasing and establishing a business, does it make more sense to do that just direct with you or through the SBA, or is that something you look at, Greg, based on the risk of the business that's you're looking at?
Yeah, that goes back to what the business is. Certain categories aren't available SBA or eligible, right? So then certain are. But we take a look at both factors. What down payment you need, how much you want to refinance, or if 85%, some SBA loans can go 90%, 100%, less down payment. It just depends on what each scenario would be kind of different. That's just something to look at when you're looking at certain things like that. But we help the process for both. And I always go over both avenues with, some people want to do SBA, some people don't. Just depends on where they're at and what they want to do with their loan options that they have. But we go over both loans, and we can help provide both avenues for both of them. So really, they're not doing anything different from a regular loan to an SBA loan, just a personal preference and maybe the interest rate and what the differences are between the two.
Great question. Anybody else? Still have time. Great. You guys are rallied. Really good questions. Complicated topic. That's why you need an expert like Greg and others that, again, we work with that understand the process and do it, work with it daily. All right. If not, we will go into, let me get it to the right slide here. So again, visit thescore.org/Minnesota website. You'll see you can request a mentor there. Again, there's a lot of great information about SBA loans, our partners, a lot of good information there. Recorded webinars you can refer to as well. And I want to thank you for participating today. Please do fill out a survey. How do we do? I think Greg deserves a 10 out of 10. He did a great job, but we also want to know what other topics you might be interested in that we can present to you. It would be helpful. And last chance, any last questions or comments from anyone? I'll remind everybody that you will receive a link to the recorded webinar, and you will receive the slides themselves later on today or tomorrow. All right, I think I have a hand raised. Let me see here. All right. Well, with that, thanks everybody. Thank you, Greg. Appreciate you sharing with us, and have a great day.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.